This is the new Stratusphere search tab in the Advanced Inspector. And for this demonstration, we'll type in a username like David. And then we can click Search Now, or we can click a tag, which would reduce the search time. And I know this is a username, so I'm going to click User. And up come a couple different Davids. And I'm going to pick the david.benneman.admin user and click that user. And I can now perform a 360-degree view of the resources and the systems that we observed this user accessing, and we pulled back into the Stratusphere database. So now you're looking at david.benneman.admin specifically, and that's for looking at that for today and yesterday, as you see in the top left of the screen. And as you go down through these tables, you can see the login details, the desktop allocation details, and how much of that allocated desktop was consumed by that user, and then some different user experience overviews. And in this case, you see it broken out by day. You'll see a Wednesday and you'll see a Tuesday, and you only see those 2 days because I'm only searching for the time frame of today and yesterday at this point. So as you go ahead and look through the consumptions and the type of GPU the user is using, the type of network adapter the user has in IPs, the network applications the user has been using over the network, the IP addresses have been accessed, and how much data has been transferred, how much time spent on those connections. You've got the applications broken by user applications and then system applications, of course, so you don't have to look at all those in one table. And then you have the actual user and the machines that this user was on trended over the last hour, the last 24 hours, the last 14 days, the last 30 days. So you can kind of get an idea of if the performance or experience that you see now has been consistent over prior hours and days. And then on the top, there's the quick link again. So if you didn't want to see all the information returned on the 360 in one shot, you can click individual quick links, and then we'll just pull up those tables of information that might be relevant. Each of these tables is sortable, and there's column header help in there. So if you hover the column headers, you'll see descriptions of those metrics. And each of these tables, if you find something interesting that you want to look at, you can click the pop-out link here, and the pop-out link will take you to the inspector where that information was actually derived from or saved at after it was collected. And it'll take you right to that inspector and open up the inspector with the information constrained from the search, right? So now I'm looking at David Benneman admin in the applications table in the applications inspector. And I'm able to look through, and in this case I see this Opera browser was using 4,000 plus megahertz of CPU. So the workflow in this case might be to start from a search, find the user, open the 360, find something specific you were interested in, pop out the inspector, export the data out, and then pass that over to the right team so that they can go ahead and remediate that problem. And here's how that works. Once you click export, you can type in a name. The file comes down just as you viewed it on the screen. You've got, again, the information that you saw as far as the user, the applications, the processes, but then you've got the metrics and the column headers, which have the context help in there too to explain what that metric is. And then if you wanted that Excel document but didn't necessarily want to forward it right now, you could always go click over to your My tab, and then in your My tab you will have all of the spreadsheets that you've been exporting and maybe saving and moving around. So I'll refresh that. You'll see it appears right at the top, Opera Mail or Opera High, and then at that point you can just click the file again and download it and open it up again or forward it on. And so that's a quick demonstration of the Search 360 Inspector export workflow that we have coming in the 5.8.3 version. This is the Overview tab. So if you click the Overview tab, instead of searching for something specific, which you can still do here, as you see, and change the date and so on and so forth, but instead of searching for something specific in here, it starts off by showing you everything. So whereas the Search tab, you type something you want to search for and then select it and get a 360, this kind of gives you a 360 view of your whole organization. You see there's some boxes with nothing in them there. There's no that has logged in recently, nobody that has a app load time recently, nobody that has an app that's not responding recently. But there are some people with some maybe higher latencies, so you can hover that in the graph, click that, it will focus on that specific high latency user. In this case, it was a Liquidware Labs username, and so now the graphs are redrawing with a focus just on that user over the time frame, so that you can get an idea of a trended use of that user. Because what you saw a moment ago was that user's average latency, and we clicked on that user's average latency, and that user got pulled into all these different metrics here. Now you're seeing these metrics, all these metrics for that specific user. And you see again the ones that don't have anything in there with the red saying that there's no records returned. Well, that's a good thing in this case, right? For the desktop apps not responding or for the failed connects. So those are okay messages, right? So if I do see something high like the latency, I can click the pop-out link on the top left of the tile. That will pop me out right to the inspector. So you've got your workflow there again. You're starting from an overview, you're finding something odd, you're clicking it, you're seeing the trend, and then you are popping out to the inspector on that odd tile, perhaps, where you can then get a zoomed-in view of that resource, that metric over time, and then diagnose what's been happening in the environment. So that's an overview of the search process with the drill down to the inspector, and an overview of the overview tile tab, and pop out to the inspector from there. And you see how the workflow is similar, and they both lead you to the information, whether you get it at the search screen, or you get it at the 360 level, or you're getting it at the overview tab, or you're having to go down to the inspector level. You've got the workflow there then to discover the information by either searching for it or by having it brought to you in this overview tab right to you. Or you can take the more traditional workflow that you've had for the last few years and go right to the inspectors and just dive in directly into the inspectors.